the ego is not a huge, big problem.
Okay.
But women can be combative, okay, and we can be very feisty, but most of the time the issues really revolve around specific facts of the case. Women, I think, are better geared at looking at a problem in the big picture, looking at it in terms of practical solutions. We we play to certain stereotypes, but the stereotypes are there because historically and experientially, I think we know that women are great at taking care of people. Okay, and women, I think, are very good at explaining things to clients, making sure that clients know what they're getting themselves into, and then women are very good at anticipating many things with respect to case. So it's that has been my experience. One, as a woman, as a female attorney, and like I said, I have two other siblings who are lawyers.
Wow.
One is, yeah, and so one is we are all in litigation, and there are two women lawyers in my family, my sister Karen and I, and then my brother Al. There are 5 women in my family, so I see how women manage things. And I think we manage things pretty well because we can allocate, we raise children, we take care of people, so we know how to allocate certain needs to certain areas and to a lot of people. And we're anticipatory and, like I said, not too concerned about
the ego,
but more,
yeah.
more concerned. Listen, you're a man. I don't take that in the wrong way. But,
no, I don't. I don't. I happen to agree with you. I really do. Now,
I don't want to get on your bad side.
No. I know, Claire. I agree. I mean, I think so many men have such a problem with ego, and I think what you said makes perfect sense. So, no, you're speaking the truth, and that is something that is irreplaceable. I mean, that's what you have to do. You got to tell the truth.
Oh yeah. Particularly in this day and age, we have to stop speaking in euphemisms and all sort of double speak and just say it. But women have a particularly good approach, I think, to the law because I think we are more balanced.
Gotcha.
That's how I'll put it.
Okay, makes sense. Now, I'm sorry.
You will forgive me. I've been having very bad asthma, so every now and then you'll hear sniffles.
Oh, that's quite all right. And if I was there, I'd give you a tissue. How about that?
Okay, good.
All right. So, hey, Claire, tell me. Look, say I'm looking for a lawyer. What are some things that I should screen to find a good lawyer? Like, what's a characteristic of a good lawyer?
A good lawyer is somebody who, first of all, will listen to your story. Be very wary of people who are so intent of selling themselves. They have to have the ability to sit and listen, because you cannot analyze a case without having somebody taking the time to sit and listen to you. Now, time is money, okay? And you can expect that the lawyer will put you in a specific time frame. Say if they are going to give you an hour's worth of a free consultation. You got to honor that because time is money. Be wary of a lawyer who can sit with you for 5 hours and not charge you for his or her time. Then there's a problem there. But a lawyer who listens to your concerns, a lawyer who has some understanding of the area of the law that you are asking about or you are concerned about, and if a lawyer does not have that, because there are so many areas in the law that one can have a problem in, you should look out for the lawyer who will say, I don't have enough knowledge about this particular case, but it is something that I can research on. So the initial interview is very important. You're looking at candor, you're looking at somebody who takes the time, you're looking at somebody who has empathy, you're looking for somebody who is candid and honest and will not pressure you into signing up a case simply because he wants to make a client sale. It's just like that, it's sales. But you have to be wary of that because most of the time lawyers, well, not most of the time, some lawyers will tell you everything you want to hear so that you'll sign them up. So that's the initial consultation. And then through the course of the relationship, watch out for lawyers who will not take the time to update you on specific developments in a case, because the lawyer has to communicate with the client. Watch out for lawyers who will not return phone calls. Typically, lawyers who do not return phone calls do not care about the clients.
Right.
Watch out for lawyers who are dismissive of concerns, because a great part of the duty of a lawyer is to make sure a client is well educated in the area of the law implicated in the case, so that when decisions are made down the road, it is easier for the client to make those decisions because they have been fully educated. So those are the things that you have to watch out for as the process goes through. The duty of disclosure and confidentiality, those things are important. And the disclosure is not just in the developments of the case, but you got to watch for that a lawyer properly accounts to you about costs and expenses, so that people are apprised properly of everything involved in the management of the case. Excuse me.
Gotcha. Now, if you don't mind, can we let's talk about the mechanics of filing a lawsuit. Can you talk to the audience about that?
Yes. The most important thing is, if you feel something occurred or that an issue has arisen, you must go see a lawyer as soon as possible, because you are concerned with statutes of limitation. Okay? That is a time period wherein someone or a person can file a lawsuit and still have that lawsuit be effective. At any time the prescriptive period has expired, whatever the wrong that was done or whatever right was implicated could no longer be redressed because the time has expired. We're hearing all of these things about the lawsuits, or at least the claims of women against Bill Cosby. Most of them are time barred. They are time barred because the lawsuits or the claims were not filed within a specific period of time. So that's the first thing. If for people who feel that an issue has arisen or that an issue will arise, they have to go see a lawyer so they can get educated on the statute of limitations. That's the first thing. After you do that, you go see your lawyer, and your lawyer talk about the case. The first mechanics, of course, is gathering of evidence. And it is very important. You have to gather the evidence. You have to preserve it. Otherwise, it could vanish, it could be destroyed, it could spoil. There's this term called spoliation of evidence. It means the evidence is destroyed, it cannot be documented, it's gone. And when that happens, it becomes very difficult to prove up a case in a court of law. And so even if a wrong had been done to you, if you have no evidence going forward, it becomes very difficult. The advice would be not to file that lawsuit, because you'll spend a lot of time and money proving up something when you don't have the tools to prove it up, or you don't have the facts to prove it up, or you don't have the evidence preserved to prove it up. it becomes a huge waste in time of money and resources, let alone, all of the pain and aggravation of filing a lawsuit, because filing a lawsuit is painful. So
Right.
you have to evidence gather, and then the lawyer then, based upon the evidence, will research the law and then write up a complaint. That's the lawsuit. Write up the complaint and then file the complaint in the appropriate area of jurisdiction, location-wise. So a lawsuit that arises out of, say, Los Angeles must be filed in Los Angeles. A lawsuit arising out of the Central Valley of California must be filed within that specific jurisdiction. Then the lawsuit is served on the defendant. Once it's served on the defendants file an answer, and that begins the area of discovery, which is where you do interrogatories and depositions. But that's usually the first part where a tremendous amount of time is spent with the clients in order to file the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. You brought up Bill Cosby, and I just read of another woman today, actually a very successful model, who claims that she was drugged and raped by Bill Cosby in the 80s. Now, I know the statute of limitations is probably off the map there with the criminal case, but can that woman sue him civilly?
She can, but can that lawsuit survive the initial legal challenges? Probably not. And yes, I read about that article too on Vanity Fair. No, I believe those, both for the criminal and for the civil lawsuits, I think those claims are all time barred. There is a very short or a very narrow area when the abuse happens when you are under a specific age. So some jurisdictions have set up a statute for people who are abused when they are minors. Those persons have a brief window of time to file a lawsuit with respect to that. So I think that there was that one person who filed the lawsuit because she alleges she was sexually molested, I think, when she was 15. So unless you meet that specific requirement in the statute that they are time barred, that's why it's important to go talk to the experts as soon as something comes up that you feel might give rise to a claim, or if your rights have been violated.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you take me, Claire, through a typical day at your firm? Like, what do you? I mean, from the moment you get there until you go home, what's most of your day like?
It's very busy. You have clients to call. You have cases to manage. You have the administrative aspect of running a law office. So, particularly for smaller firms like myself, we are called to do many things. One, you have personnel issues. The administration of running an office. You have clerks to look at and take care of, and the legal secretary, the administration, the billing. And then, of course, the most important thing is making sure you're on top of your cases. So I regularly have case management meetings so that we know where we are on a particular case and where we want to go. And then you have court appearances. Most of the time, your mornings are spent in court appearances. So you have court appearances in the mornings, and then I come to the office, and then when I get to the office, begins the calling of people, opposing counsel, clients, potential clients. And then later in the afternoon would be, administrative issues or client appointments and client meetings. Most of the reading and the writing and the analyzing of a case happens for me at night when I don't have the problems or I don't have to deal with the telephone calls. That would be a typical day. It's usually very busy. It's usually event packed, and a lot of it is talking to a lot of different people.
Gotcha, Claire. Now, you're a mother, aren't you?
4 daughters.
Wow, how cool is that?
Mhm.
Now, my question is, and this is something I think is very important. How do you balance your being such a successful career woman and having 4 daughters and being a mother?
I think you set up your priorities really clear at the outset, so that um, one is, if there is a court appearance that you must appear at and that you cannot assign to somebody else, make sure there's somebody else there taking care of the needs of the children on that particular day. So it's got a lot of planning involved there. Now, I'm no longer at that stage because my children are older. They're all out of college and they're all working. So I'm not contending with every day taking care of little children. I did that 20 years ago when they were little.
Gotcha.
But to be a woman, you have to be able to be a woman and be a lawyer and then have children, little children. Let's talk about little children. I think you really have to map out your days well ahead of time.